Breaking news: Atlanta is paralyzed in disbelief as tragedy strikes one of its most well-known families. At 3 a.m., the quiet night was shattered when chilling whispers began leaking from a guarded ICU room. King Harris, son of rap icon T.I. and singer Tiny, is fighting for his life in a desperate hour-by-hour battle for survival. Sources close to the family describe the situation as critical, using only 3 haunting words: prepare for the worst.
A lot of people hit me up like, King, I know you tired, you ain't getting no sleep, and the truth be told, before this little I ain't been getting no sleep, you know what I'm saying? I just been outside working, lifestyle, lifestyle just lifing, you know what I'm saying? And, but now I'm damn sure not getting no sleep. This up every morning, and then around the morning time, he like to do that little live concert I be doing with him. And, he like to walk around the house.
King is reportedly on full life support, his condition deteriorating rapidly. Each fragile heartbeat serves as a grim reminder that time is running out. Doctors have confirmed that the next 24 hours will determine everything. Inside the hospital, the atmosphere is heavy with grief. Witnesses recount seeing Tiny break down in tears, collapsing in the hallway as family members tried to comfort her through unbearable pain. That moment, caught on a bystander's camera, has now flooded social media. Millions of fans and supporters praying for a miracle, watching helplessly as updates trickle in. But what initially appeared to be a sudden medical emergency has now taken a darker, more sinister turn. A leaked medical report allegedly reveals injuries far beyond what could come from a random altercation, deep lacerations, deliberate bruises, and trauma patterns suggesting something far more violent and calculated. What was thought to be a simple fight now looks disturbingly close to torture, and the mystery behind who did it is only growing deeper. Even more chilling, an audio clip has surfaced online, allegedly capturing a prison guard whispering words that have shaken the entire city. The order came from above, we just cleared the way. That single cryptic sentence has ignited a firestorm on social media, sparking intense speculation about who could have wanted King's silence so badly that they orchestrated what appears to be a calculated attack. And it doesn't end there. Rumors now point to a security video allegedly showing masked figures entering King's ICU room under the cover of night, tampering with his life support equipment. Though unverified, the possibility alone has sent shockwaves through the public, raising fears that even within hospital walls, King Harris might not be safe. Outside the hospital, chaos is unfolding. T.I. appeared before the growing crowd, his voice trembling as he pleaded for mercy, saying through tears, "He's just a kid. Don't let them take my son."
Me and getting in my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas? His going to prison. If you got to keep this up, his going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had the conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's going.
That emotional moment was captured and shared worldwide, triggering hashtags like #PrayForKing and #JusticeForKing Harris, uniting millions in collective disbelief and sorrow. But not everyone is showing compassion. Online, critics are already twisting the tragedy, calling it karma for T.I.'s past, a cruel narrative fueling one of the ugliest social media battles the Harris family has ever faced. Meanwhile, inside the ICU, King's condition has reportedly deteriorated from critical but stable to multi-organ failure. Doctors are said to be working around the clock in rotating shifts, doing everything humanly possible to keep him alive. Yet behind closed doors, quiet conversations among nurses tell another story. Whispers of possible sabotage, fear of outside interference, and growing unease among hospital staff. Many now fear that the danger surrounding King Harris might not end until the truth is finally exposed. Outside the hospital, chaos and heartbreak have consumed the city. The crowd has swelled into the hundreds, voices rising in unison under the glow of candlelight. Some stand in silent prayer, clutching photos of King, while others raise protest signs that read, "Protect King, and we want the truth."
The grandson on the way.
Wow.
King's about to have a son.
King's about to have a son. Congrats.
Yeah. And I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all time. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you tortured me. I promise you, there will be an indictment in this young one.
The sound of helicopters roars above as the chants echo through downtown Atlanta, shaking the streets with tension and grief. Inside, the Harris family is collapsing under the weight of it all. T.I. is reportedly pacing the hospital corridors endlessly, breaking down each time someone dares to mention letting go. Tiny, overwhelmed with anguish, has been seen trembling uncontrollably, her face swollen from hours of tears. What's unfolding behind those closed doors is pure devastation. The shockwave is now reaching across the entertainment world. 50 Cent, Meek Mill, and Kanye West have each dropped cryptic social media posts, some hinting at dark industry plots, others warning about forces behind the curtain. Yet the silence from several powerful figures has only intensified suspicion. Are they protecting someone or protecting themselves? Whispers are growing louder around a chilling theory that King Harris was targeted because of unreleased music that allegedly exposed powerful names. Some point fingers at internal betrayal within the label, while others whisper about deeper government-linked involvement. As the night deepens, the most haunting update has surfaced. The family has reportedly been asked to review end-of-life paperwork, the kind only presented when doctors believe hope is nearly gone. The reality is brutal. King's survival hangs by a single fragile thread. What began as a tragedy is spiraling into a full-blown conspiracy, a story that could ignite a nationwide reckoning.
All right, I need you to step out the vehicle.
What you want to do? You want to take my gun off my head?
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well?
What's the gun for?
All right, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
There's no safety. You got to take it.
There's no safety.
Take
Okay. Well, I'm not going to mess around with that too much. Let me just set this down right here. Dude, step out for me. Yes, sir. Place your hands behind your back for me. All right, right now you're just being detained. You're not under arrest. I'm going to be at the church. All right, I appreciate you being cool, man. We're just going to take a look at this information, make sure it's valid.
I ain't sure it is.
Just take a step to the side for me.
Through the noise, one desperate voice cuts through the chaos. T.I., weeping as he prays aloud, "God, please don't let them take my son." Inside the ICU, chaos erupted as alarms blared and nurses sprinted between machines, their shouts cutting through the sterile air. Every piercing beat felt like a dagger to the family's hearts. The room, once dim and quiet, became a storm of flashing monitors, frantic voices, and desperate attempts to keep King alive. Then, just before dawn at 5 a.m., the moment everyone feared arrived. Doctors quietly pulled T.I. and Tiny aside, their faces grave. The words that followed were the kind no parent should ever have to hear. If things don't improve soon, we may need to discuss letting him go. The news shattered them. Witnesses say Tiny collapsed to the floor in shock, trembling so violently that medical staff had to rush to her aid. Her anguished screams, "Don't take my baby, don't take him from me," echoed through the corridors, freezing everyone who heard them. That heartbreaking moment didn't stay hidden for long. A hospital worker secretly captured the scene on video, and within hours, the footage was circulating online, reaching millions and leaving the world in tears. But even as the internet mourned, the nightmare behind the scenes was only deepening. A confidential medical report leaked shortly after, suggesting King's collapse wasn't just the result of injuries from a beating. According to insiders, toxicology tests revealed traces of an unidentified foreign substance in his bloodstream, something no ordinary jail fight could produce. Even more alarming, experts believe the chemical was administered after King arrived at the hospital, not before.
So my question to you is, I found just a non-felony amount of weed in that ashtray in the back, as well as in that basketball sleeve. So I'm gonna go over here and talk to these guys, and someone has to get charged for it.
That revelation has sparked terrifying questions. Who had access to his IV line? Who entered his room unnoticed? And who could have slipped something into his system without being caught? As suspicion spreads through the hospital, one thing has become clear. Whatever happened to King Harris may go far deeper than anyone first imagined. Then came the clip that sent shockwaves across the internet. A blurry, grainy video began circulating online, allegedly showing two hooded figures slipping quietly into King Harris's ICU room at 2:47 a.m. One appeared to stand guard by the door, while the other leaned directly over King's hospital bed. The footage cut off abruptly, but the implication was chilling. Investigators are now racing to verify its authenticity and trace visitor logs, fearing that someone may have been trying to finish what was started behind bars. Within minutes, hashtags like #ICUBreach and #ProtectKingHarris were trending worldwide. The question now haunting millions: how does the son of one of hip-hop's most famous families end up so unprotected inside one of Atlanta's most secure hospitals? The mounting pressure outside the hospital walls soon cracked the family from within. Relatives from both sides began arguing publicly under the glare of camera lights. Members of Tiny's side reportedly blamed T.I.'s past for bringing danger to their doorstep, while witnesses say T.I. erupted in anger, shouting, "This isn't karma, this is murder." That explosive confrontation was caught by paparazzi and instantly went viral, further dividing public opinion. Some saw a father's anguish, others saw a family unraveling under the weight of secrets. Then, as if the story couldn't get darker, a new leak surfaced, an alleged audio clip from a senior Georgia prison official. The muffled voice can be heard saying words that froze listeners. Some are mutts. If the boy talks, everything crumbles. He can't walk out of there alive. Though unverified, the clip spread like wildfire and ignited widespread panic. Theories exploded overnight. Many now believe King wasn't attacked because of who he is, but because of what he knows. T.I. responded swiftly and emotionally, telling reporters, "My son is being hunted by a system that would rather silence him than protect him." Those words have since echoed across social media, turning a family tragedy into what many now fear could become one of the darkest scandals in modern hip-hop history. What began as a tragedy was quickly taking the shape of a deliberate hit. Investigators are now on high alert, combing through every piece of evidence, every timeline, and every witness statement. Some sympathize with King Harris, seeing him as a victim of a sinister plot, while others cruelly suggest it's a sympathy act. But before anyone could settle on a narrative, another chilling revelation surfaced, one that reignited public outrage. An anonymous nurse stepped forward, claiming that King's ventilator mysteriously shut off for several seconds in the middle of the night. Those few seconds of silence triggered a wave of chaos inside the ICU. Alarms blared, nurses rushed in panic. But when hospital administrators reviewed the security footage to determine what went wrong, the files were gone, completely erased. Was it a technical glitch, or did someone deliberately wipe the evidence clean? That question alone has sent shockwaves across social media, sparking thousands of theories. Some whisper about industry sabotage. Others suggest rival street connections or even a mafia-style cover-up orchestrated to keep the truth buried forever. The deeper people dig, the more twisted the story becomes, and the truth feels further away than ever. Soon, celebrities began to weigh in, turning the speculation into a global frenzy. Cardi B broke down in tears on Instagram, pleading, "That baby don't deserve none of this. I don't care what you feel about his daddy. Pray for that boy." Then Snoop Dogg went live with a grim warning. "This industry ain't what you think. Protect your kids. They're coming for all of us." Those words hit like a thunderclap, feeding the growing fear that something much bigger and much darker was happening behind the scenes. Outside the hospital, emotions boiled over. Protesters stormed the main entrance, chanting, "Let us see King and protect that boy," as police in full riot gear formed barricades. Helicopters circled overhead. The scene at Grady Memorial looked less like a hospital and more like a battleground. Inside, T.I. and Tiny refused to leave their son's bedside. Exhausted, broken, but defiant, they clung to his hand as the machines kept their fragile rhythm, fighting to keep their son alive while the world outside demanded answers. An eyewitness described the heartbreaking scene inside the hospital. T.I. hadn't eaten or slept in more than 24 hours, pacing the halls endlessly, whispering prayers under his breath before collapsing in exhaustion. His face, hollow and broken, reflected a man watching his world fall apart. Tiny reportedly clutched King's hand so tightly that nurses had to gently pull her back so they could continue their work. But even their efforts were starting to fade under the crushing weight of time. Doctors began using cold, clinical words that sliced through whatever hope the Harris family had left. multi-organ failure, irreversible damage. The tone in the room changed, machines beeped slower, the energy dimmed. One insider said T.I. finally snapped, screaming at doctors, punching walls, shouting, "You're lying, you're not doing enough, don't tell me to let him go." His rage shook the floor, leaving staff and patients frozen in place. Grief had turned into desperation, and desperation had turned into fury. Outside, as the first light broke over Atlanta, chaos continued to swell. Anonymous online accounts began dropping disturbing claims, including one alleging that a powerful music executive had ordered the hit, trying to silence King before he could release a song exposing industry secrets. Whether it was fact or fiction, no one could tell anymore. The lines between rumor and reality had blurred beyond recognition. By dawn, hundreds had gathered outside the hospital, their chants growing louder by the minute. By noon, the crowd had grown into the thousands. Candles flickered in the cold morning air as posters waved high, and helicopter blades thundered overhead. Protesters clashed with riot police. Tear gas filled the streets. The scene looked less like a vigil and more like a city under siege. Inside, the battle was just as fierce. King's lungs were failing, his kidneys shutting down. Doctors whispered the words no family ever wants to hear. Prepare for the worst. Once that phrase hit social media, it ignited like wildfire. News outlets, influencers, and fans worldwide watched in horror as Atlanta transformed into the epicenter of a tragedy that no one could explain. A young man's life hanging by a thread while the world demanded answers. The hashtag #PrepareForKing exploded across social media, trending worldwide as millions of fans lit virtual candles, sent up prayers, and begged for a miracle. Then in the middle of that hope came a devastating revelation that sent shockwaves through every timeline. A whistleblower claimed that King Harris had flatlined. His heart stopped completely for nearly 2 full minutes before doctors managed to shock him back to life. The thought that T.I. and Tiny had nearly lost their son shattered millions, social feeds filled with crying emojis, broken hearts, and desperate prayers. The grief was collective. It felt like the entire world was holding its breath. But that same revelation opened darker questions no one wanted to face. If his heart stopped once, could it happen again? Was this just fallout from a violent jail brawl, or was someone intentionally keeping King trapped between life and death? Inside the ICU, grief began turning into fury. T.I. and Tiny's pain boiled into open confrontation. Witnesses say T.I. erupted in the hallway, his voice echoing through the sterile corridors as he shouted, "If my son dies, I swear the truth will come out. This ain't no accident, this is murder." Security was forced to restrain him after he reportedly hurled a chair against the wall in rage. That moment, raw, chaotic, and unfiltered, was captured on camera and leaked within minutes. The video spread like wildfire, showing a father's anguish turned into defiance. Outside the ICU, Tiny collapsed once again, clutching a rosary, her sobs echoing down the hospital hallway as family members tried to hold her up. The heartbreaking scene has since been labeled one of the most soul-crushing viral clips of the year. But the coldest twist was still ahead. Late that evening, a hacker collective released what they claimed were internal hospital documents, encrypted medical files showing traces of unapproved toxins in King's bloodstream. These substances weren't part of any authorized treatment plan and weren't related to his injuries. The leak reignited global outrage, suggesting what many now fear to be true. Someone may have been tampering with King's life from the inside. The internet erupted in uncontrollable fury, flooding timelines with outrage, confusion, and heartbreak. The hacker's post came with a single chilling caption that cut straight through the noise. "They're not trying to save King, they're finishing him off." Those 8 words hit like a bomb across social media, instantly igniting chaos. Within minutes, that message had been shared hundreds of thousands of times, sparking riots outside Grady Memorial Hospital. Protesters screamed "cover up" as they clashed violently with riot police. Tear gas filled the air. Fires burned in the streets. Live streams from the scene gained millions of views as the world watched Atlanta spiral into mayhem in real time. Inside the entertainment industry, fury spread just as fast. 50 Cent fired off a post calling out industry snakes and accusing powerful figures of orchestrating a cover-up. Meek Mill tweeted, "They silenced the future before it could speak." Then Kanye West added fuel to the fire with a chilling warning, "This is what happens when you say no to them. They come for your bloodline." Those words sent shivers across the music world, painting a picture of something far darker than a simple jailhouse brawl gone wrong. By then, the narrative had completely flipped. Nobody was talking about a fight anymore. This was a full-scale war between power, silence, and survival. Social media split in two. One side demanded justice, calling for investigations and accountability. The other side claimed it was karma, saying the Harris family was paying for the sins of success. But inside that cold, fluorescent ICU room, none of that mattered. There were no debates, no hashtags, only the relentless beeping of machines, the sterile hum of life support, and a family collapsing under the weight of grief. Doctors delivered another crushing update. King's chances of survival were falling by the hour. The energy in the room dimmed as hope began to fade. Then, just as the city braced for dawn, another blow hit. A leaked security feed from the ICU appeared online, grainy, silent footage allegedly showing two masked figures pacing outside King's hospital room. One of them clutched what looked like a metallic case. Whether the video was real or doctored, no one could say, but its timing was sinister, and its message was clear. Even inside a hospital under lockdown, danger was still closing in. The footage was horrifying, dark, grainy, and powerful enough to send shockwaves across the globe. Viewers everywhere froze as the same chilling question echoed through every timeline. Could this be another attempt to silence King Harris for good? The fear, once whispered, had now become impossible to ignore. Then came the moment that broke millions of hearts. At approximately 11:45 p.m., T.I. stepped outside the hospital to face the massive crowd that had been gathering for hours. His hands trembled as he clutched the microphone, eyes red and swollen, his voice heavy with grief. "They told me to prepare for the worst," he began, and instantly, the crowd fell silent. His words cracked through the night like thunder. "But how do you do that? How do you prepare to lose your child? He's in there fighting with everything he's got, and all I can do is beg you. Please pray harder than you ever have. He didn't deserve this, none of it." That moment, raw, real, and devastating, flooded social media. Within hours, clips of T.I.'s tearful plea had racked up millions of views across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. The world was united in heartbreak, watching a father crumble in front of the cameras while his son fought for his life behind hospital walls. But as prayers poured in, the public demanded something more. Answers. Was this really just fallout from a jailhouse brawl gone wrong, or was it something far more sinister? Why were the prison cameras conveniently offline during the assault? Why were multiple guards allegedly told to stand down? And who, even now, might be making sure King never walks out of that hospital alive? The story keeps growing darker by the hour, leaving the Harris family trapped in a nightmare that refuses to end. Doctors have issued another grim update, saying the next 24 hours are absolutely critical. King Harris remains in intensive care, his body failing, his fate hanging by the thinnest of threads. As Atlanta holds its breath, the entire world watches with one burning question. Will King Harris survive this nightmare, or are we witnessing one of the most tragic downfalls in modern hip-hop history? What do you think? Is this just a tragic twist of fate? Or is there something deeper and darker happening behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter in this shocking and unfolding story. See you in the next video.